Hey guys, welcome along to my local beach, 7 Mile Beach, down at Jirowa, about 5 kilometres, 10 kilometres from where I live. And I've come down here in expectation of shooting a nice sunset. Whether that happens to come to pass or not, I do not know, but we will find out. So this is called Crooked River. Flows into the ocean here at Jirowa, and that's where we're heading, over in that direction. And the reason I've come out tonight is because of this gap on the horizon. Over here, there's a chance we'll get some nice colour. It is, of course, the middle of the winter here in New South Wales. And so the beach is nice and deserted, which is exactly the way I like it. In the summer, very different story down here. At the moment, I saw a couple of people walking, but it's basically just me and the birds, which is exactly how I like it. So there's a hell of a lot of litter on the beach at the moment. It's been here for a little while. This is from the historically awful floods we've been having in this part of the world, and what happens is people come down and they sort of collect them together into these sort of little structures, some of which become semi-permanent. They don't get removed by the council or anything, they just stay here until they get washed out with another flood, or someone takes them away for firewood or something. But there's a lot at the moment because the floods have been so bad. So one of the problems traditionally when you're photographing at the beach is finding some decent foreground interest. And because of all these branches and stuff, it's not going to be an issue. But I've developed a few techniques that I deploy when I'm down here for when there's nothing like this lying around on the beach. Typically that involves putting the camera down nice and low and kind of forcing foreground interest from the ground itself, from the beach itself. So it's pretty chilly, I suppose, down here. Not super chilly, but definitely a little tang in the air. And this is the direction I'm going to be shooting. You can see that gap down here on the horizon. Hopefully that's going to backlight some of this cloud and we'll get some nice colour in the sky. And that little village you can see here along the headland is a place called Jirowa. And don't come calling unless you've got a couple of $1,000,000 to buy a house here. It's Millionaires Row, and there's a few famous people that have bought houses over on that headland. But walking on the beach is free. So this is where I traditionally go, just down here on the low sandbanks, and you get some really nice reflections in that water. And I'm shooting down here. That mountain in the distance is called Coolangatta. So I'm going to try and get a composition down here on the beach before the sun sets. I've got about half an hour, I think, to go until sunset. I think we'll try and set up and do a shot using some of these this driftwood down on the beach, find some interesting looking branches, put the camera down nice and low and see what we can do. I don't really want this lifeguard's hut in the picture, which is unfortunate because it's quite big, it takes up a lot of room. So I was going to shoot, there's a nice branch over here that I was going to shoot, but the lifeguard hut would be in the way. So, should we do it anyway? Should we shoot with the hut and this nice bit of tree over here? Well, it's pretty beautiful, isn't it? Can't complain having this as my local beach, not in any way, shape or form. Often get really beautiful sunsets down here with the colourful skies reflecting it in the sand. Works best when there's a low tide, which there is at the moment, which is awesome. Anyway, I just thought I'd do kick things off. I like to sort of ease my way in and take a couple of photos, and I spotted some cool driftwood down here. I'm going to get nice and low with the X-T4, see if we can get some of those textures nicely in focus, maybe do a bracketed shot, and we'll see how it looks. I like to give myself options, I think, is the beginning and end of that. I'm not one of these people that goes down to the beach and takes 3 photographs. I take a lot. I swap lenses out quite a lot. Watch a lot of photographers on YouTube, and they might swap their lens out once in an entire shoot, but I kind of do it all the time. Not so much at this time of the year because there's not that much going on. It's just the landscape. There aren't any people, but in the summer or when there's a good swell going and there's lots of surfers on this beach, then I'm switching lenses all the time, from telephotos to wide angle to primes. I like to try and capture as much as I can in as many different ways as I can. It's about the size of it. These skies are looking pretty promising, and we've already got some swinging around. You can see we've already got some light rays over there. I'm not sure if they'll come through on the little camera, but there's some beautiful light rays coming over the horizon. We've got 19 minutes till sunset, so I'm going to head down to the edge of the water and do some low shots down that way. And quite often, when it's like this and there's a lot of beach available, I'll leave my backpack here above the high tide mark. But I'm going out into the middle of this little sandbar, and I may swap out my lenses and stuff, so I'm going to take it with me. And this is why I live year-round in Crocs. Crocs, the photographer's best friend, or should I say the beach photographer's best friend. So if you want a hint of what the skies are going to do, always look in the opposite direction. Look out to the east, and if you can see some colour in the sky, which we can, a little bit of pink, then it usually means you're going to get some colour. Doesn't look like it's going to be one of those stunners, but it still has all the makings of being a nice one. Oh, this is lovely. Definitely bracketed again. I want everything in focus on this one. I'm going to focus just in front of me to get that hyperfocal distance. And bracketed shot, f8, 30th of a second. Okay, pretty awesome sun rays now. I'm gonna focus in, zoom in with the 1024. See if I can get them all in one shot. F8. Bracketed. I bracket all of my shots. Doesn't mean that I turn all of them into tone mapped or HDR shots, I just like having the option. So I shoot everything bracketed pretty much. Sometimes I just use a single exposure from it, but sometimes I want to bring out the shadows or retrieve some of the information from the highlights, and then I'm really pleased that I've got those 3 shots. Wow, we've got some really beautiful light now on the sand here. Lovely reflections. And there is some more colour in the sky that way too. Now, back in the old days, they used to race cars on this beach, believe it or not. Because when the tide is out, the sand here is very firm. And this is also the beach where Kingsford Smith took off to fly to New Zealand. He was the first guy to do that, and there's a little memorial to him up on the hill. So we've still just got some nice golden skies at the moment. I think I'll stay out on the sand flats, out on this sandbar, because if the sky does pop, this is where all the colour is going to be reflected, right down here. Now, I know I said I switch out lenses all the time, but this is definitely a wide angle sort of a day. I mean, I could possibly switch to prime and shoot down towards the mountain, but all the action is going on in the sky, isn't it? So what would be the point? And there is this little line in the sand here leading up the beach, which I might try and capture, kind of a leading line. So let's zoom right out. Yeah, that's pretty nice. Testing the in-camera stabilization, I'll tell you. I don't know what, that was a 1/5 of a second. If that's sharp, I'll be amazed. I'll get the tripod out in a minute. But I like to stay handheld as long as possible because it's got more options. It's freer to move around, isn't it? Get one with these ripples in the sand down here. Hit nice and low. Oh, this is beautiful. This is lovely. It's weird, it looks like it's wonky, but it's not. This is one of the good ways of using a wide angle lens. Get right down low and you can capture some pretty cool stuff. There's another leading line here on the edge of this water which the sunlight is just picking out and looks very lovely indeed. So I'll do this one from about a foot above the ground. Might head back over onto the sandbar, I reckon, because those reflections that I talked about are going to be kicking off big time. A little bit worried the wind's going to knock this tripod over. I keep looking back at it, but it's holding firm so far. I should have brought a weight for the middle of it. But anyway, we're losing the light. Let's go. We have 1 minute until sunset. Typically speaking, you get the best light about 10 minutes afterwards, in my experience. So maybe we'll get some more colour over here. Tide is coming in. Don't really want to be stranded on this sandbar. Not that it's that deep. Let's get the camera out again. It's a bit of a pain in the arse putting it away and getting it out, but I have dropped several cameras in the ocean and in rivers, so I take the precaution now of always putting it in the bag when I'm walking through bodies of water and things. We've just got a little bit of reflective colour here, and when I drop down nice and low, this is going to be greatly accentuated. Should be some beautiful colour. Gonna have to crank the ice up a bit to stay handheld. So it is fizzing. My expectations have not been met. But you can't second guess the sky. You can't second guess the weather. The day you decide not to go is the day it's going to really explode with beautiful colour. So I think we're about 5 minutes past sunset now. Let's have a look. Yeah, about 4 or 5 minutes past sunset. So we'll give it another 5 minutes, seeing if the colour comes back, because sometimes it surprises you and you're driving home in your car and suddenly there's all this amazing colour in the sky. And then you've got to say, oh, am I going to go back to where I came from, or shall I stop here, go to my plan B location? But it's just always nice to be down on the beach, that's for sure. And this is my favourite time of the year to be here. In the summer, this is a very busy little beach. Locally speaking, that is. Not as busy as somewhere like Bondi, of course, but it gets pretty busy. Lots and lots and lots of families here enjoying the beautiful beach and the ocean. There's not much of a swell running at the moment, so there's no surfers. Normally I get some nice photographs of them. Tide's coming in and covering up the sandbar, which seems like an opportune moment to head in It's about 12 minutes past sunset now. It doesn't look like there's going to be any improvement in the sky and the colour in the sky. But we'll walk slowly back to the car just in case, because we can shoot off the little pedestrian bridge down this way if necessary. But I don't think it's going to. Well, I think that'll do us, guys. The sky has well and truly fizzed. I'm going to go back to the car, wash off all my equipment under the tap down at the end of the beach, and go home and have some tea. Thanks for tuning in, guys. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the old like button down at the bottom of the screen there and consider subscribing. I'm going to try doing a few more of these on location, Thomas Heaton style photo blogging videos. So if you enjoyed it, hit the old like button, and I'll do some more from other locations around here. I think we can all agree it's pretty bloody nice, isn't it?